What's up, everyone? I'm Matt with Ozark Overland Adventures. And today, now that I have had this Gladiator for 4 months, I've put 9,500 miles on it in 4 months. That's 2 trips out to Utah and Colorado, multiple trips up to Missouri. I've been having a lot of fun in this. But now that I've had it for 4 months and put 9,500 miles on it, and 9,500 hard miles, like round trips down the interstate, hardest trails in Moab, multiple off-road parks, quite a few nights living out of it, overlanding style trips out of this thing. Wanted to give you my takeaways on what I like and what I don't like, or what I love and what I hate about the 2021 Gladiator Rubicon. Now, there will be some things that I'm just not going to mention because, quite honestly, they're ridiculous. Not going to complain or brag about the departure angle or the breakover angle because it's a truck. And I see comments all the time on social media, especially on Facebook groups, where people talk about the Gladiator and go, "Oh, the departure angle sucks," or "the breakover angle sucks," and it's a truck. It's going to have not as good of a breakover and departure angle as a Wrangler. It's just not. But people want to compare this to a Wrangler, and I can see why. But they overlook the fact that this is a truck. It has a 5-foot truck bed, therefore it's got to have a longer wheelbase. It's got to have the truck bed hanging over the back wheels because it's a truck. So not worrying about that. And the other thing is miles per gallon. We don't buy these rigs, be it a Gladiator or a Wrangler or a 4Runner, a Tacoma, whatever. We don't buy off-road rigs for good miles per gallon. I mean, the inherent nature of an off-road vehicle means the miles per gallon is going to suck, and that is no less true with the Gladiator. So that's not going to be part of that. I'm not going to go, yes, it's awesome, or no, it sucks, because it's an off-road rig, and
Ozark Overland Adventures is proudly supported by the More Expo, the Midwest's only indoor event for adventure travel enthusiasts. Artemis Overland Hardware. They have the passion and knowledge to ensure that your next outdoor experience is more than a camping trip, it's an adventure. And Long Creek Overland, your source for Ozark Overland Adventures merchandise and more.
So let's talk about one of the main things that I absolutely love about a Gladiator, and that's just to state the obvious. This is a Jeep Wrangler with a truck bed. I mean, it just is. Everything about this vehicle, from the back seats forward, is identical to a Wrangler, the new JL Wranglers. The engines, the suspensions, the bumpers, the interior, the tops, the drivetrain, everything is identical to a Wrangler. So a Gladiator is a Wrangler with a truck bed. And I think that it makes one incredible vehicle when you put those two together. I mean, it's like a Wrangler and a Tacoma had a baby. And this is what came out. And it is absolutely fantastic. The only mid-sized truck with a solid front axle means that this thing is crazy capable and the most capable mid-sized truck, period. It just is. And so I love the fact that this is absolutely a Wrangler with a truck bed. And it's brilliant. The second thing I love about the Gladiator is just how comfortable this thing is. Off-road, washboard roads, on the highways, interstates, driving around town. Now, I'm coming from a 2012 Jeep Wrangler JKU Rubicon. So the suspension setup and everything was very similar to how I have this one set up, but the wheelbase on a Gladiator just makes it so much more comfortable than what I'm used to. Now, Is it as comfortable as probably a Tacoma or a ZR2 with the independent front suspension? No. I mean, it's not going to be as comfortable, but that doesn't mean it's not comfortable. And coming from where I have to this is hands down the most comfortable vehicle that I have owned. And I will fly down washboard roads and stuff in this that I never would have in my Wrangler, just because of the wheelbase, the added stability of it. It is really, really comfortable. The seats in this are fantastic. And of course, all this is subjective. I get it. But I think it's comfortable. I find these seats very comfortable. I have had 14-hour days driving this thing out to Utah and no problems. It's been very comfortable. Okay, for those who just say that poor handling and poor ride quality is just a Jeep thing, that's a load of crap. They've just gotten used to Jeeps being not set up properly. I'm currently doing 83 miles an hour with cruise control on, this rock crawler X Factor lift, no hands, straight as can be, even on the bumpy road like this. Yeah, it's awesome. Jeeps are not just poor handling, not if they're set up right. They just hit a home run as far as comfort on a vehicle with a solid front axle. It's awesome. Now, this is going to be one of those that's kind of a mixed bag, because some of this will end up in the things that I hate. But when it comes to the off-road technology that they put into these, I love it. I thought it was probably going to be a gimmick that this thing has a forward-facing camera. But when I've been off-road, especially on trails like out in Moab, where it's got a steep angle at the top of a hill or a steep drop off into a hill, and normally those are blind, this front-facing camera lets you see where you're going, and it really just gives you a lot of confidence in what you're doing. You can line up your tires over an obstacle. So, I mean, most of the time that I've been out in Moab, I've been wheeling, in the lead, and I haven't needed a spotter because I can see where my tires are going to go on the screen. And I didn't realize how much I was going to enjoy that and how helpful that was going to be when I first got this thing. So I thought it was probably going to be a gimmick, yeah, cool front-facing camera, but no, it's actually quite awesome. The rear camera, now a lot of vehicles have those, but the fact that you can turn that on while you're on the trail and check on the people behind you, use the rear camera in a recovery situation. I've used it where I was pulling someone out of a mud hole, and so I could turn on the rear camera and see as my kinetic rope was getting tight and know when I was ready to pull him out of that mud hole. And that's crazy helpful and really saves time and makes it safer for those being recovered and in those type of situations. The fact that this is a Wrangler from the back seats forward means that this thing has the best approach angle in its class, because it's identical to a Wrangler. There's no other mid-sized pickup truck, there's no pickup truck period, that has an approach angle like this one does. So I can come up to an obstacle, put my tires up on it without risk of, bashing the front end, bashing the fender flares. Just makes off-roading with this thing and getting up over obstacles so much easier than the competition. So big props to that. The screens on the inside that show you your tilt and your pitch and those sort of things, that show your locker status, your sway bar disconnect status, all those things that Jeep has put into the off-road pages, really I find quite handy, and I end up using them a lot more than I thought I would. So I do love the off-road tech that is built into the Gladiator, but I also love the tech that this doesn't have. I mean, it's very basic, 4 high, 4 low, manual shifter, no push button electronic crap in that area. So big props to that. No, fancy buttons to push for things like A-track and crawl control. This is all very manual. It's the driver's off-road truck, and that's awesome. So knowing this is a truck, so it has a longer wheelbase, it has a bed sticking out the back, because it's a truck. It's not a Wrangler. But knowing that this is a truck, I love the fact that Jeep did include rock rails for this rear section. And as you can see, I have definitely used these. They work very well. Any other truck, if I had done the obstacles in, say, a Tacoma or a ZR2 or a Ford Ranger or a Honda Ridgeline, that's a joke. Honda Ridgeline's a joke. But if I had done the obstacles that I have done with this, with any other truck, the back end would have been torn completely up. Bumpers ripped off, quarter panels damaged, but because Jeep did decide to include rear rock rails and built that into this, was a huge win and excellent. And I love the fact that it includes those from the factory. Next, on the things that I love, because this is based on the Wrangler platform and has the solid front axle up front and has shocks and coils on the rear instead of leaf springs, this thing is crazy simple to modify. I said all the time with my previous JK that was like an adult erector set. You could take it apart and put it back together in your garage with basic hand tools, and that is no different on the Gladiators. They have definitely kept that easy ability to modify very much intact on the Gladiators. And everything that has been done to this, I have done myself. Super easy, no fancy tools or anything like that. Really easy to lift, really inexpensive to lift. There's a ton of aftermarket support for it. So the ability to modify this thing is super easy, and I love that fact. So the next thing that I love about the Gladiator is that the visibility from the driver's seat is fantastic. It is very much what I was used to in my JK. The hood lines are great. I have driven a Tacoma. I have driven a ZR2. I have not driven a Ranger. But I know on the ZR2 and the Tacomas, they've got a big hood bulge up here. And when you're coming up to an obstacle, you can't see anything. I mean, with this, I know where my tires are. I know where my front end is. And the visibility out of this is fantastic. The side visibility, even the rear visibility, is excellent. And so when you're off-roading, this really gives you a lot of confidence to see what you're doing, to see the trail, to see the obstacles, and not be blinded by some ridiculous hood bulge or, body panels that stick out past the tires, that sort of thing. Really gives you a lot of confidence when you're off-roading in this, and the visibility in this is fantastic. And then last on my list of things that I love, and this is just kind of a summary of everything, I can't get over how crazy capable this thing is off-road. I mean, it is an absolute beast. Yes, I had to get used to the breakover angle. I had to get used to departure angle. But I think if you go back and watch my videos at the off-road parks in Moab and Colorado, I think I've done a really good job of proving just how crazy capable a Gladiator is, because it is fantastic and hands down the most capable mid-sized truck off-road that you can buy. I mean, it's just incredible how Jeep has put this thing together. And is it as capable as a Wrangler because of the wheelbase? Some trails favor different wheelbases. I have crawled up things that my friends in their Wranglers have struggled with. They've gotten up things that I've struggled with. So there's no such thing as a perfect rig. Every trail favors a different style rig. Some trails favor a little tiny two-door TJ or a Suzuki Samurai. Some trails just favor that size. Some trails favor a longer wheelbase. And so there's no perfect rig, but for a mid-sized truck, this thing is awesome. I almost forgot to mention the fact that this is based on a Wrangler. What other truck can you take the doors off? None. And the top. And obviously I've got the top on today, but I can still take it off if I want to. But the ability to take the doors off and drive around town and just enjoy the weather, wheeling at an off-road park or out in Moab with the doors off and the added visibility of being able to move your head around is fantastic. And so, got to give props to the Gladiator for still being able to take the doors off, because it's awesome. All right, so let's start on the list of things that I absolutely hate about the Gladiator. And at the top of my list are the nanny electronics that are built into these things. And this is true for any modern vehicle, because government and, people are stupid, and safety and all that crap. But I absolutely hate the nanny tech that is in this. For instance, if the doors are on and I'm in 2 high or 4 high and I'm driving and I open the door, it cuts off acceleration and brings me to a stop. Or if I have the door open, like say I'm in 2-wheel drive and I want to open the door and look behind me as I'm backing out, maybe trying to hook up to my trailer, that sort of thing, it won't let me move. And that's just ridiculous to me, that the vehicle will not let me have a door open on a vehicle that obviously the doors can come off, but I can't have a door open and drive in 2-wheel drive. But that feature really gets on my nerves. Continuing with the nanny features of this thing, these taillights are absolutely ridiculous. This is where your lane change assist sensors are located. So if you're wanting to change lanes and it detects that there's a vehicle over here in this area, it beeps at you and flashes lights in the side view mirrors and tells you not to do it, because safety. But the sensors in these taillights are absolutely ridiculous. But if you are off-roading and you go through some mud and the mud sprays up from the tires back here over the sensor and you get a thin layer of mud covering this section of the taillight, you will get a warning light in your dash, and you will get the little orange triangles in your side view mirrors will stay on permanently, because it tells you that the sensor is blocked by just a little thin layer of mud. There have been so many times I've had to stop because I don't like the bright little triangles on the side view mirrors. I don't like those staying on. They're just annoying. And so I've had to get out and take a little bottle of water, wash this off, and restart it, and it goes away. But the taillights are absolutely ridiculous. And really that should be my next thing that I hate. Not just the sensors and the nanny stuff, but the taillights in general. How far these stick out from the body. I mean, Jeep had to know that this was going to be a tree magnet. And I have already popped off this particular taillight on a tree at an off-road park. Not because I hit down here, but because I pitched over just a little bit and this, just caught the tree and broke it off. And these taillights aren't cheap. They're like $800 for a taillight. So these will be replaced. I know Oracle has a flush-mounted, recessed taillight that I think they're out, but I don't know if they're shipping yet. Initial delays probably. But as soon as those are readily available, I'm going to swap these out to those Oracles, because they let you keep the factory sensor in there so you don't get the warning light. But I think it will help with all the frustrations that I have with these taillights and with the sensors. So I don't know what they were thinking. Another thing that I hate that is just part of modern vehicles, not specific to the Gladiator, I hate push button start stop. Absolutely loathe having to push this button to start and stop my Gladiator. Give me an actual key that I put in there and I turn. I've got a physical connection to the vehicle. I can tell if something's going on with it. Don't give me this push button start stop crap that is tied to a battery. And so if something goes wrong electronically, my vehicle's toast. I have personally witnessed a friend and their Toyota who couldn't do anything with their vehicle because whatever was in charge of their start feature died. And so there was no key to actually engage that mechanism. And I hate start stop push button things. I cannot stand them. And that actually was the number one reason why I had said in the past, I will never, my friends can back me up on this, but I have said I will never own a modern JL or Gladiator because they took away my key, because the push button start stop. I hate it that much. But obviously I now own a Gladiator. I love the ride of this thing so much and the potential of this thing as an overlanding rig that I obviously got over the start stop feature, because there's nothing you can do about it. Next on my things that drive me nuts about the Gladiator is this receiver hitch. This is basically your rear skid plate. As you can see, both sides of this are firmly bent up. It is all scratched up like crazy because I have drugged this over so many rocks, backed it up over rocks. This is the lowest hanging point on the back end. And I wish that they had given you the option to put integrate the receiver hitch up into the bumper. Now, yes, the license plate would have had to shift and all that sort of things, and I would have been perfectly happy about that. But give me the option to move the receiver hitch up into the bumper and save a good 4 inches of clearance back here, because it's a truck. The departure angle is not great. Don't make it worse. Don't make it worse by sticking the receiver hitch, dropping it 4 inches down off the back, and using this as your skid plate. I would rather have some, it up in here, some reinforcement back here, an actual skid plate across the rear bumper, for going over obstacles in a truck. I wish there was that option. So far, I haven't even seen an aftermarket option that lets you put it up here, but I'm on the lookout for that. So if you know of any, drop that in the comments, because I would love to move this up and get that out of the way. Now, I know this next one has been well documented by pretty much every single person that did an initial review of the new JL Wranglers, but it didn't change with the Gladiator at all. And that is the ridiculous size of this key fob. I mean, look at that. Look how massive that thing is. It's not comfortable in your pocket. And what I think is even funnier is that this right here, this little slot right here, is where they made a little pocket in here to put your fob, right here in your cup holder, so that if something spills, a drink spills, it's going to get all over your key fob, because batteries love water. Electronic things love being wet. So yeah, let's put the key fob holder right in the cup holder, so it has the most chance of getting something spilled on it. What the crap, Jeep? I mean, you built such an amazing vehicle, and this is what you come up with. Did you design this on a Friday with the interns? That's what I think happened. The interns were assigned to do this on a Friday, and this is what they came up with. And last on the things that I hate, and certainly not least, is the windshield. I don't know if they designed this out of that breakaway glass that they use in movies for, stunt scenes when people are flying through, panes of glass and stuff. I think that's what this is made out of. Maybe that thin sugar stuff. But the fact that these windshields are so horrible at rock chips and cracks. See, I don't know if you can see this one on the camera. This came from a bug in Utah. I was driving down I-70, and I don't know, some armor-plated little tiny bug smacked into my windshield and put that crack in it. Luckily, I've got another one down here that actually came from a rock. I know that there is a Gorilla Glass option now for the windshields, but they're almost $800. These, I think, are $150. So for 5 of these, I can get the Gorilla windshield. So basically, these are almost disposable compared to the Gorilla Glass windshields. So, I mean, for what these things cost, because they are not cheap by any means, for what these things cost, not in just throwing in a Gorilla Glass windshield for a windshield that is this vertical, not as vertical as the JK's, but still is ridiculous. I didn't have this many cracks in my JK windshield, so I don't know if they they lessen the quality of the glass. I don't know if I know they rake the windshield back just a little bit for more aerodynamics, if you can make a Wrangler Gladiator aerodynamic. It's still a box. But I don't know what they did, but I didn't have this many cracks and stuff in my JK glass that I do in this one. And I wheeled that thing for 6 years. And so far I've had this one 4 months. I've got 2 chips in it, and luckily no cracks yet, but I know it's coming. So that's just unacceptable. That Jeep, for a vehicle this expensive, included this type of glass. I mean, just throw in the Gorilla Glass for free. Come on. Well, that is pretty much it on the things that I love and hate about my 2021 Gladiator Rubicon. Overall, I have no regrets in purchasing this. Absolutely love it. Obviously, I have overcome the annoying features of it, or have just learned to live with them, because there's nothing I can do about them. But let me know in the comments what you think. The Gladiator, I know, is a very polarizing vehicle. Some people love them. Some people love to hate them. They're not pretty in stock form. I think 37s is a minimal tire size to make a Gladiator actually look good, which is what I'm running on this. And with 37s and a small lift, I think it looks fantastic. It wheels incredible. There are some annoyances that I'm learning to deal with and get over. But anyway, let me know in the comments. If you own a Gladiator, what do you love and what do you hate about it? If you don't own a Gladiator but have a strong opinion, let me know that too. You're not going to hurt my feelings. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. Like, subscribe, all that YouTube love. Check out our Patreon. Check out longcreekoverland.com for all of your Ozark Overland Adventures merchandise. We've got some sweet new shirts out that should be coming to me today, so don't have it in this video.
I almost forgot. There are 3 events that are on our calendar that I want to make you aware of if you have not heard about these yet. One is Rendezvous in the Ozarks. It is October 14th, 15th through 16th at Bird's Adventure Center on the western side of the Ozark National Forest. This will be its fifth year. And I've been a part of every year. It is a fantastic event with a lot of vendors, a lot of classes being taught right in the heart of the Ozarks for some great wheeling. And if you have never been to the Ozark National Forest and wheeled there, I tell everyone that is a fantastic event to attend, to get your feet wet in the Ozarks, meet a bunch of great people. I'll be teaching classes there. It's a fantastic event. Next is we're actually doing an Ozark Overland Adventures subscriber weekend. We did one back in the spring. We're going to do another one in the fall, November 5th through 7th. It's a completely free weekend. It will be base camp style, and spots on that are going to be limited. We open it up to our Patreon subscribers first. So if you're a Patreon and watching this video, you get first dibs. And if the slots aren't filled from our patrons, then I will make a post on our Facebook page and Instagram page with a link to the sign up, because those spots go super fast and we don't charge for it. We just want to meet you and hang out and wheel together. So that's the purpose of that weekend, November 5th through 7th. And then finally in 2022, the MORE Expo, the Midwest Overland Off-Road Expo in Springfield, Missouri. That is April 8th, 9th, and 10th. And that is the most killer expo I've ever been to. I will be teaching classes at it as well. And it's, 125,000-ish square feet, and I'm probably underselling that. Inside event, it's going to be incredible. This will be the 3rd year for the MORE Expo, and it just keeps getting better each year. So anyway, those are 3 days that are coming up. If you don't have plans for either one of those, put those on your calendar and look into them, because well worth it. So anyway, hope that was helpful to you. I will see you next time. Bye.